Salutations and welcome to the rather enigmatic Church of St Mary in Tansor, Northamptonshire. You know, Nicholas Pevsner, in his History of the Buildings of England, describes St Mary's as one of the most intricate in the county. Well, to me, it's one of the most enigmatic, because there's so much about this church which just doesn't make sense. As you can see, the Church of St Mary sits on slightly raised ground. What you see here dates back to parts of the 11th century. There's some long and short stonework that are definitely Saxon in appearance, with work going on through to the early 14th century. The church consists of a west tower, nave, north and south aisles, clerestory, and a north and south porch. This is a tubby little west tower, small, square, and looking from the east you can only just about see it above the chancel. The bottom section of the tower is of course older, from the 11th century, and probably maybe a survival of an earlier structure which stood on the site. Interestingly, even though it's small, it's made of 5 different stages, but these stages are only really identifiable when you look at the tower from the west and can see the string courses. Can someone please tell me what is happening on the lower half of this southern wall, where none of the windows, resemble any of their partners? There's no symmetry, there's no cohesive reasoning why they should all be different. One of the very few symmetrical attributes to this church are the clerestory or clerestory windows on the north and south. There are 3 of them. They're square-headed with just 2 light windows. Although you can enter through either the north or southern porch, you would use the south porch. One enters through this north door, and it's got 2 courses of Norman decoration, but they look completely out of place. This door looks like it never actually belonged here, that it's been moved here, and it's very, very badly put together. The masonry is quite appalling. What has happened here? Why is there no continuity with the chevron moulding? It suddenly chops in half, but there can't have been a piece in its place because it's semicircular, and therefore it was either a different shape or has either been compressed or widened, but most definitely it does not belong to this wall. My thoughts tend to think that this was not originally a semicircular arch. Interestingly, on these 4 voussoirs immediately to the right of that mess in the middle are the letters VADO, which are set within the zigzags, which mean in Latin, I go. This is where more question marks start to be raised. There's a 5-bay arcade to the south and a 6-bay arcade to the north. The 2 westernmost bays of the south and the 3 westernmost bays of the north are from the 12th century and have beautiful rounded arches. You can see some ochre painting to the underside of these bays with a leaf and scroll design. They obviously appear at glance to be medieval, but were in fact added about a couple of 100 years ago. The remaining of the bays have pointed arches, and these are of a later date. Behind the chapel at the east end of the south aisle is this top half of an original wooden rood screen, probably dating from around the 1400s. This is an old grotesque, either fallen or taken down, with its mouth pulled wide open and a long tongue stuck out in the old medieval gesture of real insult. Here is a double piscina, early English, and really quite a nice example, with very little damage. Now, here's some more interest. There are two sets of 3 seats to the north and south chancel wall. 2 of the misericords, or misericords, it's weird, the French pronounce them misericords and we misericords, to the north depict angels with flowing locks playing with lutes or other instruments. And as usual, those people from the Reformation loved to knock the noses off anything that was made out of stone or wood. There is little doubt from the craftsmanship that these came originally from Fotheringhay. On the south, 2 of the 3 misericords feature falcons, whilst the other is an absolutely beautiful representation of a woman wearing a headdress which is horn, probably the fashion in the 1400s. Can someone please explain what was the purpose of this small quatrefoil window set really high up on the west wall? Was there a room there at one time? This western arch is, well, as my students would say, well weird. It's 2 bays. It's got a 12th century rounded arch. However, a 13th century double chamfered pointed arch has been built inside this original archway. Why? This font is very rough and ready. It's octagonal, rests on 5 shafts, and there are 4 huge, massive ball flowers, which are pretty badly carved. In fact, that one on the left didn't even see a chisel or hammer. St. Mary in Tansor, Northamptonshire.